I'll leave you guys with this thing. This is the last little tidbit. It's kind of going along the same lines of me getting crazy. I want to share with you guys a story of something that I did a couple weeks ago at my job. Which when Wilson brought me up here, I like that he told everybody where I work. It's like, hey, yeah, anybody wants to know where to kill Jimmy between 9 and 5? Go do that. So I was at my work, and I do the 9 to 5, and it drives me crazy. And what I decided to do a couple weeks ago for absolutely no reason was to dress up as a little newspaper boy. Like a little Newsie, like, extra, extra, read all about it. Because I'm aware of what I look like. I know that I look like I've only eaten TV dinners my entire life. I know that if I ever end up moving to LA, I'm just going to be playing a sick kid. Like the kid that tries to get everybody to smoke cigarettes at the school. Yeah, milkshakes are cool, but have you ever tried heroin? So I dressed up as a newspaper boy, and what I wanted to do, it was payday, and I wanted to just make everybody feel good. I was like, I just want to make people laugh. So I dressed up as a newspaper boy, and the night before I rolled up a bunch of newspapers, rubber banded them up, and I showed up to work, clocked in, worked until noon, and then went out on my lunch break, clocked out, grabbed a Bluetooth speaker, and had it queued up. And I started running through all the departments dressed up as a newspaper boy. The Bluetooth speaker was playing I'm the king of New York, shit like that. And I'm running through, I'm fucking clicking my heels, extra, extra, read all about it. It's 1932 and women still can't vote. Woo! And I love it. And just throwing newspapers at people. And running up, I work at a print shop, so I ran up to the press, I'm like, oh, does that print newspapers? Looked at a computer, I'm like, is this the next kind of newspaper? Started going nuts, man, and I was throwing newspapers at everybody, and something that I didn't really account for was the sheer look of terror in people's eyes when I emerged from around the corner. Screaming, I'm the king of New York. But for the most part, people were digging it, man. They were loving it. They're like, oh, this is great. Oh, everybody pulled out their cell phones, they were videotaping it. The real reason that I did it was so at the end of it, what I did was I ran back to my car, I got back in my normal work clothes, clocked back in, and then just denied it to everybody. Like, Jimmy, man, what was that thing? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was at lunch. And clearly it's a little bit weird, but I thought it was an innocent thing. But I knew that it was going to ruffle some feathers because I work at a pretty big company. So at 4:30 p.m., I was ready for this. I got an email from the HR department. There's Jimmy in my office now. And I was like, oh shit, all right, cool. So I walk in and spread out on the table of my HR lady's, right on her desk, so a bunch of newspapers. What I had forgotten was that the night before, when I was really drunk and I thought it was a great idea, I had taken a Sharpie and wrote crazy shit on the inside of the newspapers. I literally wrote, help me. It's shit that made no sense, like kids these days, huh? And I signed every paper Ollie. That was the character name that I attributed to it. And I walk in and it's spread out, and I felt like I was in high school. And she's like, Jimmy, you care to tell me what happened here today? And I said, whatever do you mean? What are you talking about? She said, Jimmy, you can cut the act. We had 37 complaints. She said, what did she say to me? She's like, Jimmy, people were really scared. Is this a cry for help? And once again, I looked at her and I was like, what are you talking about? favorite thing that anybody has ever said to me, let alone a fucking HR person. She looked at me and she said, Jimmie, before I let you leave this room, I need to make sure that you haven't had a break in reality. So at that point, I knew it was great. Like I had to do something to make sure that I had to do something to make sure that I was going to be all right. So the night before, what I did was I planned for this, just something to save my job. I've been working there for 8 years. If I'd have got fired for that, I would have been done. But I found this is perfect, and you guys can use this as well, man. Same, walking out on Chipotle burritos, doing that shit. You can use this as well. This isn't even comedy. It's just me just giving you like life hacks. So at one point she says this, and I pull a piece of paper. I don't know what happened to the actual paper, but I transcribed it for you here tonight. And I just looked at her and I said, "To who it may concern, I don't know if there's ever quite a right time for this thing, but I figure why not? For you see, I sexually identify as a 1920s newspaper boy." I guess I've always sort of known. Long before I strapped on me suspenders and the words "extra, extra" ever left my smackers. I think I knew. I think back to the playground when all my friends were dribbling the ball down the court and I was bouncing it off my feet. Just picturing myself in the middle of Times Square pickpocketing some rich businessman. I know a lot of questions are going to come up. And from this point forward, I would like for you guys to refer to me as Ollie. I'm not sure what bathroom I'm going to use yet. But I guess I'll find out in time. I don't know if it'll be the men's, the women's, or if I'm just going to piss in a bucket and wipe my ass with these newspapers. But needless to say, if any questions come up, please don't hesitate to ask. I would gladly have you at my dinner table and would love to discuss any questions that arise over a piping hot bowl of porridge. Love, Ollie. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Jimmie Graham. Okay.
Give it up against Jimmie Graham.